I'm willing to be bold. I'm willing to be out front on issues. I'm not cautious in that respect. I'm not reckless, but I'm happy to take risks, and I think that's a big part of growing up dyslexic. This is a state that's larger in population than 163 nations, already spends $367.5 billion a year in healthcare, at least according to UCLA. Our multi-payer system is inefficient and wasteful. That's my humble belief. I believe in a single-payer financing system, but I'm willing to tackle this. I did it as mayor. They said it couldn't be done. Everyone sat around the table at the Ed Board of the Chronicle saying, how are you going to pay for it? Who's going to finance it? Are you going to do this and that? I didn't know. I said, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. And they said, this is pipe dream, and we proved them wrong. And it's had its 10th anniversary this year, by the way, that healthcare plan. And I'm proud of that. Let's commit to put all our trophies on the wall, take them off, put them on the table, and consider a broader tax measure. Let's agree with the parameters of that. What's our end result? If we agree on smoothing volatility, how do we still maintain our progressivity, which is part of our DNA? Look, I have strong and deep values, and if he's going to attack the values and the people of the state, I'm going to assert myself. Always have. And just watch my Twitter feed, my Facebook. There's no evidence to suggest otherwise. That's who I am. And so I'm not here just to be the head of the resistance, though I won't take a backseat to anyone else in terms of asserting that role if I need to. But I also want to paint in bold colors a positive alternative, and to the extent the Trump administration can be helpful in advancing that agenda. And Kevin McCarthy, who is a friend, who we disagree with on more issues, almost on an hourly basis, not just daily basis, I'd love to see that relationship flourish. And I would significantly increase the investment in higher education. And by the way, the governor can do that today. With all due respect, we have the resources today to do that. No doubt in my mind. I'm giving you a sense of what I value. Higher education and the critical scaffolding of early childhood education are my two disproportionate biases in terms of where I want to see additional investment. And to the extent I have to find commensurate offsets, that's my commitment and resolve. I'm a Democrat that doesn't begrudge other people's success. I don't come at it from the lens from a redistribution perspective. I come at it from a pre-distribution perspective. What do I mean by that? I would argue the reason it's happened is that our interventions have come too late. You and others appropriately talk about the achievement gap. I don't. I talk about the readiness gap. People talk a lot and write about people being left behind. I think people start behind. I think the biggest mistake we've made is that we're triaging the problem. We're not addressing the root cause of the problem. The number one predictor of whether or not you're going to end up in the criminal justice system is the number of words you speak in kindergarten. The next governor needs to not only prepare for wildfires and more droughts, which are the new norm, the next governor needs to prepare for the next 1, 2, 3 major earthquakes. We have to continue to work with our local partners all up and down the state. Promote getting 5 million alternative fuel vehicles out on the street is a wonderful thing. The next governor has to figure out how to do that. We've got to make sure cap and trade is successful as we enter in the next iteration and getting into the fuel sector. We have to make sure we don't lose people along the way that are concerned about costs, particularly those that are different tiers in the Central Valley and don't have the benefit of our efficiency programs. But I want to continue the momentum. My approach would be to engage our public unions and to engage in a responsible and thoughtful way and not impose these changes by fiat or ballot, which I just reject. I think will divide the state, will set back the cause. But I recognize the challenges, and I think most of the leaders in public employees unions recognize as well, but they also recognize the toxicity of those reforms that get to the corpus of the unfunded liabilities, and that means this is going to require a lot of political dexterity and a lot of good public policy in the next few years. I want to give the voters a chance to reconsider. I really believe that. I'm against the death penalty for many different reasons. I believe very, very strongly in keeping people that prey on innocent people behind bars for life if necessary. I just don't believe that we should, as a society, be systemically killing members of society. One stylistic difference, and by the way, he's a political mastermind, so I should not be arguing against Governor Brown's approach. It has worked for him, and it's worked for the state. I'm not constitutionally capable of being on certain issues as strategic as Governor Brown is in terms of when to engage. I tend to want to engage in everything early in the process. And that may be a liability, but it worked for me a little bit with Mayor. Also caused some friction and setbacks, so I've learned some things.